One, MetLife Stadium Drive, one of the two NFL stadiums shared by two teams. But we're not here to talk about that or that team across the hall. Keith Ippolito and John Rad are only here to talk about the true football giants. We talk Giants football and wherever else the conversation may take us. So deal with it. This is the Shared Stadium Podcast. As the song says, it's the final countdown. This guy is lucky. That's the best way I can describe it. He keeps going yard. And how do you not love this guy? We're going to talk about all that and more. Welcome into the Shared Stadium Podcast, where we talk all things New York Giants. I'm John Rad, along with my teammate Keith Ippolito. Keith, what's happening, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Getting ready for a holiday weekend, as I'm sure you are too, man. So.
Yeah, but not like you. Keith is like, for you guys who don't know, for long-time listeners, thank you for listening. You like, subscribe, follow, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, iTunes, whatever. Keith is getting ready to go to the south of France on a yacht.
Oh, God. Oh yeah, I wish.
For like a buddy's birthday, like a birthday. Who
Yeah,
spends
right.
their birthday on this? It's Labor Day. It's like a 3-day weekend. Some people are just like, hey, I'm going to get to the lake. Some people are like, ooh, I'll make it to the pool. Keith is going into international waters on the other hemisphere, on the other side of the globe. I mean, come on, luxury vacations, luxury.
This is all blasphemy. I do not know what you speak of. But yes, needless to say, I am counting down to Friday evening, and I can't wait to have maybe one of those drinks with like an umbrella in my drink or something. You know, something like that. Something very tropical, John.
Bought to him by a man named Jeeves. And his biggest decision that he will have to make over those few days is whether or not he would like cracked crab or lobster.
Hey, man, actually, that's a tough decision now that you put it to me that way, man.
That is his biggest decision that he will have over the next couple of days on whether or not cracked crab or lobster, and whether or not he should wear a shirt, a button-up shirt to his private table on the beach. If not, they'll just go talk. We know, Keith. You don't have to pretend, bro.
Come on. Come on. Oh man, John, I don't know what you're speaking of, man. I am not. Okay. For the record, I will not be vacationing in the south of France, okay. As much as I wish I was.
All right, you're right. He'll be vacationing in the north of France. It's a little bit cheaper than north of France.
Yeah. So, you know, man. John, what's going on, my man? What's happening? Oh man.
Man, so the NFL, they have vetoed the quarterback rule. So now it looks like we will have Daniel Jones. We will have Danny DeVito. I'm gonna go all out on names. Danny Dimes, Danny DeVito,
okay,
and the locksmith. So
the locksmith, okay, all right, I like that. I like it.
Those are going to be our three quarterbacks that we will have on the roster. And here's my first concern about all of this. We'll talk about here in a second. We're going to rank them. But let's talk about this here for a second. The fact that we feel relieved that we'll have to have three quarterbacks on the roster, to me, is a telltale sign we got a quarterback problem.
Yeah, I mean, well, put it this way: if Drew Lock or what did you call him, the locksmith?
The locksmith.
The locksmith and Danny DeVito are starting at any point in this season, that probably means that the season has just completely gone off the rails, and it's basically another season down the toilet, basically. So if I hope that is not the case, John.
I feel fairly confident. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I feel fairly confident that we are going to see one of these three quarterbacks at some we'll see the other two, because obviously, and tell me if you agree, the rankings is going to be, as of right now, from where it stands, Danny Dimes, Danny DeVito, the locksmith, and only because the locksmith is hurt.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. It's basically, it's Jones, DeVito, and the locks, or maybe I'll call him the Loch Ness Monster now. I don't locksmith, or actually I like the locksmith better. I'm gonna stay with the locksmith.
Look, as long as the locksmith doesn't throw any lock picks, I don't care. I just need to make sure the ball goes from one blue jersey to the other blue jersey and into the end zone.
Nah, hey, look, man, as we've talked about ad nauseum on other episodes of this podcast, there definitely is other issues on the team, particularly, the secondary, whatever. But yeah, I mean, the biggest question mark going into the season has definitely been the quarterback and the offensive line, which we'll get into later. But yeah, I mean, if we're getting into week 3, week 4, week 5, and we're seeing the locksmith and Danny DeVito back behind center, then yeah, man, I mean, this season is definitely all over. I mean, then you're basically flushing it down the season, and you're basically just watching to see where you're going to end up in the draft the next year, basically at that point.
And you're right. I mean, unfortunately, that's the scenario that we're in. And I think what we're going to end up looking at realistically, this team's going to be a 500 team. They'll end up with a wild card spot. And we're going to talk about how I did the math on that shortly. Yeah, I won't get off track there. And we'll end up with a late round pick. Because here's what I'm going to say. Are you playing fantasy football this year?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Are you?
Yes, I play every year. I'm going to run down something here for you. And here's what was concerning for me. I went to ESPN.com and I put in the top fantasy football quarterbacks for this season. All right, so the usual suspects make out the top 4. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, in that order. Number 5, Anthony Richardson. That one's a bit of a... And C.J. Stroud at 6. Okay, I get that. Scroll down.
Jones is probably on
Geno Smith at 22, Baker Mayfield at 23, Will Levis at 24, Daniel Jones at 25.
Yeah, I mean, he put it this way. He wasn't so I had 3 drafts this weekend. I mean, and he wasn't drafted by anybody in any of our leagues, nor as he should be. I mean, I wouldn't draft him on my team. Have you had a draft yet, John?
No, I haven't. I'm only doing one league this year, and
okay.
We'll have our draft Wednesday. And so one of the guys was trying to pick my brain for some information, and he said, "Neighbors, what do you think about him?" Said, "Look, I think the kid's going to be a good wide receiver. I like him. Here's the problem. Who's going to throw him the ball?" I said, I think we're going to see some epic catches from him. I think we're going to see he's going to put up stats based off just the fact of what he will do based off the athletic freak that he is. His hands, everything, his speed. He's going to do that. But we're not going to see a reflection of what could potentially be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, all because the signal caller is not going to have I'm just going to call it like it is. They don't have the ability to do what we would like for him to do if Neighbors has the talent that we hope he does.
Yeah. I wouldn't say, for me, I wouldn't say I don't think he has the ability. I think he can throw the long ball. It's the knucklehead decisions like we have seen even in this preseason. The one in the Texans game is, that's, I have no idea still what that was. But the one deep ball that he threw, should have been a back shoulder throw. So, yeah, I mean, it's a definite concern. I'm taking a fandom out. I still think Neighbors could have a very productive fantasy year. If he gets, he has that Odell-like quality where, say if he gets the ball, then, he might be able to break off, 10, 15, 20 extra yards after the catch or whatever, just because he's that quick or whatever. And I would have to imagine that a lot of the balls he's going to see are the ones that he does catch are probably going to be, long passes, deep routes, go routes, or whatever. I don't know. Do you disagree with that?
I do. And here's the problem.
Okay.
I think Daniel Jones is going to have a case of the yips. You might be wondering, if you look that up in the dictionary, what are the yips? Daniel Jones is going to show, and we saw that. We keep referencing that Texans game. The pressure came. I got to get rid of it. And to do something like that, you have to have the confidence. And I hate to reference this guy, but I got to use him because he's the example of it. When you watch Aaron Rodgers slide in the pocket, his eyes are downfield. He looks comfortable until he's not. Patrick Mahomes, he looks comfortable until he's not. Preseason, Daniel Jones hasn't looked comfortable yet, and that's not an indictment on the offensive line. It's an indictment on a guy who I gotta give it to, where he's coming off an injury, but on top of that, he was accustomed to, I could run a little bit more, and he doesn't need to. And that's where I say he doesn't have the ability. Yes, he can have an arm like a cannon. That's great. I also know people who can shoot guns, but if you can't hit the ball outside of a barn, then you shouldn't be what is it? The little stormtroopers from Star Wars. Those guys all got little laser pistols.
They got them all, yes.
They never hit the what's the thing called? The Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
they never hit it.
They never hit it.
It's a gigantic spaceship. They never hit it. They missed. And to me, I feel like that could potentially be Daniel Jones's. He could shoot it, but he can't hit it.
So I'm going to ask you this question. Well, I don't think it'll rile you up a little bit. So what week do you think we see Danny DeVito or the locksmith behind center in the Giants? What week are you gonna say? Week 5, week 6? Is it week 7? What week are you shooting for?
I want to be fair about this.
Okay.
I'm gonna go week 7, and here's I'll explain that. Okay, we start the season off at home against the Vikings. If we lose against the Commanders, then we go to the Browns. If we lose against the Cowboys, who we're going to talk about here shortly, and I'm just assuming. I'm hoping we don't start the year off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm hoping we don't start the year off 0-7.
No, God, I mean,
If we start the year off 0-7, I'm putting on a Falcons jersey. But anyway, I'm joking. But here's why I say that. Our first 7 games are 3 division rivals. Even if we start the year off 4-3, and those 3 losses are to the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Eagles, by the time we get to the Steelers, he won't be the starting quarterback, because then we round that corner going up against Commanders, Panthers, Bucks, Cowboys again. And we can't afford to, by that point in time, we can't afford for you not to figure out your confidence. So that gives you 7 weeks.
Yeah. Well, so all right, so say, in the 7 games in your 3, say in theory, say we're 4-3, but your 3 losses are in the division against, the Commanders, Eagles, and the Cowboys, then you're in a hole in the division, obviously.
Exactly. And I get it. It's easy math to say that, but if those 4 wins, because if we've lost those 3 games, it's fairly safe to say, and I know we're talking hypotheticals. I get it. I can hear the trolls already typing away. Oh, he's such a negative Nancy. But you've got to remember that Browns defense is scary.
Oh,
the Browns front is scary. The Bengals defense is scary. So if you're talking about those, and I'm sorry, let's not forget the Eagles defense, aka UGA grad school.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the Eagles
Those
are even as many issues as they have down there. They're still a yeah. I mean, I'd be
that's a
crazy to
scary
say otherwise.
defense.
Yeah, they're a scary team. They're a much better team than we are. It goes without saying.
So that's where I say, if unless those 4 wins are commanding wins, and those 3 losses to the Eagles, Commanders, and Cowboys are just one play,
So
it would have to be almost be commanding wins, because if you go because we play the division so close to the back second half of that season, that's the part that's going to make it tight, because it's not like the scenario where we're ending out the year, and we'll end out the year obviously against the Eagles, but it's not like traditionally where we would end out against the Cowboys and we need that one game. If we need one game and it's against the Eagles, yeah, we're done. We're toast.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. So I want to ask you a question about the first 7 games. What I'm assuming you're not predicting us to go 0-7. What do you expect our record to be in that 7? Are you going to say 3-4, 4-3, 2-5? Like where are you leaning towards?
I'm gonna go. The fan in me wants to say 3-4.
Okay.
But and here's where I say Daniel Jones is safe. I'm not completely just saying that he's in a no-win. No, I'm not. You get the win against the Vikings, win against the Commanders, the loss against the Browns, win against the Cowboys. That's 3, and you lose those last 3: Seahawks, Bengals, Eagles. He's safe to me, because you at least took 2 of those 2 division games within the first 4 games are pivotal right here. That's the key part to this whole component.
Well, like you just said, and also, that's a tough. You kind of look at these games. I mean, this is a tough first 7. I mean, Minnesota is, I think we should beat them at home. That's just me. Washington, I think we can win that away. Obviously Cleveland, I'm gonna chalk that up as a loss. That would be a complete upset. Dallas is at home. I'd like to say we should beat them, but you never know. Seattle isn't a bad team. I think Geno is okay. Plus it is in Seattle, so that's not always a friendly place to play. Yeah, exactly. And obviously Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Cincinnati and Philly are, in the upper echelons of the league. So I mean, I would say the wins are realistically the wins are coming from Minnesota, Washington, Dallas.
Same thing I said.
And possibly Seattle. I'm going to say Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Philadelphia. I'm just assuming we're losing those games.
The only breather that you'll see after that at that point in time, you go to Pittsburgh, the Commanders come to New York, you go to Carolina, you got a little breather there. But then you go to that last back stretch of the year, Tampa Bay, Cowboys at Dallas, the Saints, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Colts, the Eagles again.
Yeah, and honestly, even, with the Falcons, with their issues or whatever, they have Kirk Cousins. It's not, a lot of people, crap on Kirk Cousins, but I mean, that guy's putting up 3,000-4,000 passing yards consistently. It's like, I mean, Kirk Cousins isn't a chump,
No, he's not. And that's why I'm not mad at what they did. And that's why it's one of those things where when I'm looking around the league, I'm okay if you go out there and you find a guy who is going to put up numbers. And I've said this before, for those of you who are longtime listeners, thank you for listening, like, subscribe, and follow. If I told you on 590 attempts, you're giving me 410 completions, 69.5 yard percent passer ratings, putting up just north of 4,500 yards a year, You're throwing 9 picks.
Yeah.
Would you take that?
I would sign up for that. Pretty sure you would too, right?
And you know who you're signing up for? Dak Prescott.
All right.
And you know the difference between Dak Prescott and every other quarterback we have on the roster? Playoff experience. And you know the other thing that he just needs right now? He needs to get away from Daniel Jones, and we'll transition over to talk about the Cowboys. Dak Prescott needs to get away from Jerry Jones, his uncle. Get away from Jerry Jones and get a chance to go somewhere with Dayball, with a team that is going to love him and just, I won't say coddle him, but let him put the team on his back again. Feel comfortable, get his confidence back, give him some young targets, and now we got us a veteran back there. So now we don't have to wait. Yes, we're going to pay a little bit for him, but I'm okay in paying a little bit for a quarterback that has 7 playoff starts under his record, 2-5 in the playoffs. I'll take that because, yes, I get it. It's only one more than Daniel Jones, but it's playoff experience.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like we've talked about previously, I would be okay with Dak Prescott. Do I believe he's the long-term solution for us? No. I don't believe that at all. I would be okay with it. Here's my biggest thing. Here's my biggest thing with Dak. It's just, and I don't know if this is just because he's on the Cowboys or whatever. It's, he can't seem to show up in the big game in the playoffs when it matters, man. That's my only issue with him.
I'll be fair to that, and I will agree. I won't argue that. Here's why I say Dak's the answer. We have a young team right now. Even if we cut Daniel Jones and we go and get a quarterback in the draft, we're hoping that we find the second coming of Pat Mahomes that can do it in his second year. Because that's the thing is, I'm looking for, and I know, and this is a question that I'll throw out to you.
Okay.
Are we building or are we there yet? Are we still building? And here's the example I'll give you. Okay. We look at let's take, for example, I know they're the pillar of it, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're there. Like, all they're doing is adding little blocks here and there to fill holes.
Yeah.
But then I'll take the Houston Texans. They're still building, but they got some foundational pieces.
Yeah, they're still building, but they're trending upward.
Where are we at?
I feel like we're somewhere in between. I don't really feel like we're building. I feel like we need to build different parts of our secondary. I feel like it is very tricky. Certain parts of our roster are lacking, like our secondary. But I am a firm believer in our coaching staff. I do believe in the GM. Honestly, the more I kind of think about it, I really feel like we should potentially be a playoff team, if not this year, definitely in the next season. So in that definition, I guess we're not a building team. But I'm also not ignorant enough to say, oh yeah, we're going to go win a Super Bowl. I know that's not true.
And I asked that question for this. We're building, but we're not there.
Yeah.
Adding a quarterback means we still have more building to go. A rookie quarterback. But adding a veteran quarterback is what gives us that next step to go from 1 to 4. 1 to 3. And that's why I'm looking at a Dak Prescott. That's why I'm looking at a Brock Purdy. That's why I'm looking at a quarterback that's out there. Heck, if he can just show something this season, I'll tell you somebody else who, if I can get the old him back, if Russell Wilson can show that Russell Wilson of about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Oh, of course, yeah, I'd sign up for that.
I'd take that in a heartbeat. Give me that Russell Wilson.
Course, absolutely.
And I know what everyone will say is that, he had the Legion of Boom, and he had that defense that kept him in it. His legs kept him in it too, and his quarterback IQ kept him in it.
Yeah, no, he 3 years ago, yeah, he was, upper echelon quarterback here in the league, and very mobile quarterback. And yeah, he just got on some rough teams, and Father Time caught up to him a little bit, and then out in Denver, obviously, didn't really seem like who was the coach before Sean Payton was in there? Who was it?
Yeah, that guy.
God, Vance? No. I can't remember.
Whatever.
But I can't remember. He only lasted 1 year. Yeah, Sean Payton
not gonna be there next year. That's what it is.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then Sean Payton came in, and obviously, didn't really seem like, those two obviously butted head, and it doesn't really seem like Russell Wilson really fits in Sean Payton's style of offense either. So it was, obviously it was for both of them to part ways, and it seems like he's going to be the starter over there in Pittsburgh. I didn't watch the Steelers' last preseason game, but I think he played the first couple set of downs in that game, and then Fields took the rest or whatever. So I would imagine that Russell Wilson's going to be QB1, come their first day of the season. Whether Fields takes over or whatever, I don't know about you. I still am hesitant on Justin Fields. I guess I feel this year is a make or break year for him, in my opinion. Sure, does he have the talent to do that? I just haven't seen that yet. But was that because he was just on a really bad team with some really bad coaching and stuff?
Yes,
probably. Yes.
And that's to the point that I said. I take Russell Wilson. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's not he's not a project. He's not something I have to fix to a point of I don't know what Justin Fields is yet. Good, and that's the perfect scenario that he's in right now. Good for him that he can still compete for that starting position. I would love to be Pittsburgh right now. If you told me right now, as a Giants fan, your starting quarterback is Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields is your back, I'd feel a lot better than I feel right now. I'd say, yeah, we're not great, but I'm in a much better position because I got a young quarterback, and I got an old veteran quarterback.
Yeah, well, it's like you just said, is that you know what you have going into him with Russell Wilson. He's not what he was 3 years ago, but, should he be serviceable? Yes. And to make it even better, like you said, with Pittsburgh and them, Fields and Russell Wilson, they're buddy, and apparently, I guess he's, kind of took him under his wing when they met in various, like QB camps or whatever when Fields was younger or whatever. So, seems like they have a really good relationship, and Fields is able, kind of almost, to go to the Packers with, Aaron Rodgers and even now Jordan Love and stuff, these guys that sat on the bench for several seasons, and I don't want to say Jordan Love is the next Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre for Green Bay yet or whatever, but it sure seems like they might have their guy, man, and he sat on the bench for a while over there. I know I was one of those guys when they made that draft pick that I made fun of the Packers. What the hell are you doing? I'm sure you were one of those too, but so far, man, last season he looked pretty good, and he was, to bring it into fantasy a little bit, he was definitely getting drafted in all my leagues, and I'm sure he will be in yours on Wednesday too.
But here's the difference between that. Pittsburgh is sitting with two quarterbacks that both will be unrestricted free agents next year. One's 26 and one's 30.
Yeah.
One is a Super Bowl champion. The other one, we don't know what it is yet. where do you go from that? And now the safe part is that Tomlin can do is, number one, he knows his job is secure. So he doesn't have to worry about. Number two, you don't have to pay a ton of money for either one of these quarterbacks because it's not going. Fields is just finishing up his rookie contract.
Yeah.
So that fifth year is not there. So, he's not going to cost you a ton. It's a different scheme. It's a different look. It's a different world. And in this scenario, to be perfectly honest with you, I would take both of them because the only person that probably could mess this whole thing up is one Mr. Jerry Jones. As Jerry Jones has come out and he's re-signed CeeDee Lamb. Good for him. He's handled business the right way.
Yes.
But he came on the Pat McAfee show. And Jerry Jones said, I am the only person that could do this. No one else could be owner. I am the only person that can do this.
I think he used some other colorful language in there too, John.
Look, I know we're a podcast. I'm not trying. I get it. You want the FCC to call. You're trying to be the first podcast that the FCC calls and says, "Hey guys, the language got a little too weird."
Hey, John, if you want to know, I'm an expert in FCC regulations. If you want to know. See what I did there?
No, I'm not going there with you. I'm looking for the in-game button, the dump button, but I don't have it over here.
The dump button? We don't have one on this platform, at least not yet.
I'm looking for the in-game button. I need to call some people that accidentally push it in the middle of a baseball game. Never mind. I digress. I'm going to make it through a show without taking a pop shot. But anyway, I digress.
It's too easy sometimes, John.
But Jerry Jones says he's the only one that could get this done. I think Jerry Jones, and that's why I say right now is the prime time for the Giants need to beat Dallas because they're in turmoil.
Yeah, they are. I mean, now, they are. And
I will say though, here's, and this is about to cut you off. Here's what I'll say. I like guys with a chip on their shoulder because a chip on your shoulder will get you about 3 touchdowns. And if Dak Prescott has a chip on his shoulder, that man's going to be throwing the ball 50 yards from laying on the ground. And it's going to be a sight to see.
Well, I mean, obviously, he's been, I guess you could say, disrespected his entire career, I guess. Is that the right word, would you say?
Well, yeah, I've disrespected him, but that's because he played for the Cowboys.
Well, yeah, I know I have. He plays for the Cowboys. But I guess disrespected in the sense that, he gets slighted by, I guess, the national media because of the biggest some of it might be is because the playoff record or whatever, but I mean if we're just looking solely at numbers or wise or whatever, Dak is a great quarterback. I mean, and I guess not that I guess it really matters that it translates to the field. He's also, I hate saying this because he's on the Cowboys, but he seems like a hell of a nice dude, man. Like, I don't know. He seems like a decent guy. No?
No, I agree. And I think that's part of it. But, okay. Can we be frank on this show? Can we be blunt? Can I just be transparent on this? And you can go either direction you want with this. Dak Prescott has better numbers. I gotta sit and do all the math on it, but just looking at the playoff record, he has the exact same playoff record as Tony Romo. And Tony Romo was revered as a god in Dallas. And here Dak Prescott is looked down upon like he's the Antichrist. And I don't think it's fair that Tony Romo, who won 2-4 in almost 13 years with the Cowboys, and I get it, there were some injury-riddled seasons in there, but he was in the perfect scenario with some really, really, really good players.
Oh, yeah, you talk about, like sorry to cut you off, but I mean, there's no excuse that some of those teams should have not made deeper runs, if not potentially win a Super Bowl. I mean, so the talent that they had on some of those teams was just absolutely stacked. I mean, I think can't remember what year was the Mexico trip where they took all the team went down there.
Yes.
And when Jessica kind of like the the Odell and the boat trip in Miami or whatever. I guess don't celebrate too much until you've actually made it to the Super Bowl and won the thing or whatever. So dude, I agree with you, man. I actually, when you look at it like that, I mean, those two are essentially have had the same careers with Dallas. And what did you say? You said Tony was 2-4 and Dak is 2-5.
Dak's
I mean,
2-5.
that's on it. That's basically the same to me. I mean, one game basically, and their numbers are fair, pretty much the same. And and especially more recently, man, the Cowboys have had a lot of turmoil this year, and even until it seems like Jerry's, I wouldn't say he's always had it, but seems like more recently he is kind of losing it a little bit, because he's in his 80s now. Gotta be, right? What, 81? 80?
In the beginning of the Bible, they said, when the good Lord said, "Let there be light," Jerry said, "I got it." And he went
I got it.
Flipped the switch. Tony Romo's best season was 2012.
Okay.
The team went 8-8. He threw for just shy of 5,000 yards.
Okay.
He threw for 19 interceptions, 28 touchdowns.
Okay.
That was his best year. That was Dak Prescott's last season.
Yeah.
Think about it. And Tony Romo went on to play for those 1, 2, 3, 4 more seasons, and they squeaked into the playoffs one of those years. So, I say that to say, when it sucks for Dak, because, like you said, I think he's a great guy. He's not a troublemaker. And once again, I'm continuing myself for this of, if he's available, you go get Dak, you rub it in Jerry's face. And I know. And I'm going to lean towards the camera for this one. Because most Giants fans are Yankees fans. And let's just be crystal clear about something. When you're not in pinstripes, we don't like you. But you put those pinstripes on, we love you.
That's a true story.
You. If
That's
Big
a true
Poppy
story.
would have wanted to come over, we would have said, "Poppy,
come on, Pop, let's take it. Come on
over.
Come on, Poppy."
Who was it? Oh, why am I drawing a blank on his name? He had a ton of hair when he played for the Sox.
Jacoby Ellsbury?
No. Oh, no. Why am I not the Sox? Who am I thinking of? McCutchen.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah,
McCutchen came to the Yankees.
Chopped it all off. Man. Of course.
Dak, we don't like you right now because you're a Cowboy. You come and put on Giants blue, and now twice a year we get to rub it in those fans out of Texas' face, out of Dallas's face. Cool, we love you, baby. And then you win those 2 games.
Yeah. Any opportunity I can use to rub it in Dallas's face, that's a win for me, my man.
And that's why I say, and I know I'm continuing my sales. Dayball, if you're listening, hit me up, DM me on DM me, John Rad 450, DM me. We can talk about this. And all I'm asking is that you make a jersey in my size that you can get me, because y'all don't make it for the big and tall fellas. But Dayball, you go get Dak. You give him a 3-year deal. You ain't gotta make him the highest paid. You tell you what, give you a 3-year show me deal, and then we'll talk about a big deal afterwards. Give me a show me deal. And You get to grow up with those. He gets to get his confidence back. Those young wide receivers get to get a veteran, that somebody that can control the huddle, control the room. Dak, you now get to be that quarterback that you were in college. You don't have to be under the thumb of Jerry Jones and all those tyrannical coaches that you've had. We're going to let you be the coach that you are.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, he's had Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy now, and I feel like there was one other one sandwiched in between there too, but I'm drawing a blank on it. But yeah, I mean, you kind of look at it. I mean, he's had he's been an inconsistent and just a rocky situation over there, and there's always drama over there. I mean, well, plus it's the Cowboys, so they're always going to make national news or whatever, and anything Jerry says always is going to make headlines or whatever. So I'm kind of curious, what's going to happen over there. I mean, I wonder if Dak gets to the point where he just says, you know what, you've waited so long to, make a decision on this. I don't even want to be here anymore. I just want to go. Do you think it ever gets to that point?
Come on up to the big city, brother. So wait, he's 31 now. He'll be 32 next year. They voided his contract. He's an unrestricted free agent next year. So, yeah, they voided the rest of his contract. He's leaving. They sign something now, he's leaving. So
I would say it's not likely that he's back next year. I mean, and you know what, I guess, like you said earlier is, you bring him in for 2 or 3 years. I don't know about you, John. I still think you draft a quarterback have him sit under him, and that is, the successor, to next in the line. I mean, that's, if that was the route we were going, and the Daniel Jones experiment is finally over, I'm cool bringing him in for 2-3 years, but I also want them to draft another quarterback. And in that situation, I would be okay with him sitting on the bench.
No, I agree, and I don't want the scenario of we draft a quarterback. And I get it. And I've said it before, and I'll contradict myself. I'm going to correct myself. You won the Super Bowl by having a young quarterback. 100%. We've seen it. I agree with it. We don't have the time. I don't feel like we have the time right now where we have these young wide receivers, and the last thing we want are these guys getting frustrated and losing confidence this early in their career. I'd much rather have them with someone that can guide them, give them direction, and then say, hey, we got this under control. Because the last thing you want, and we'll shift gears after that, but when you talk about, when you're looking at this schedule, it can get to be grueling, because when you're talking about that back stretch of the year.
Oh yeah, man,
being at
tough.
home, and you're talking about teams coming in and just, I'm going to just go ahead and say it, possibly mollywopping you. You're just like, man, I'm over it.
Well, so I think you've got 3 after that Philadelphia game. Pittsburgh, Washington, and Carolina, I think should be winnable games. I think we can win those games. Tampa, I will say, we could have. I would say coin flip. Dallas, again, I would say a coin flip. New Orleans, I'd like to say we could win that game. Baltimore.
That defensive line against New Orleans, if it's Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback, that defensive line is going to they're going to put, and that's where our offensive line is going to have to turn it up. Because that secondary is really good too. And that's going to be the nightmare from that team.
Well, yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I still think so. If Jones is still playing by that, then obviously that means that him and Neighbors and they have figured some things out or whatever. And I would like to think the offensive line is figured out. I still think I do. I guess we can get into this in a little bit as well. I mean, one thing that I think a lot of fans are concerned about, especially it became apparent watching this game against the Jets, that if Andrew Thomas goes down and
over.
Yeah,
Over.
man. Yeah, it's
OVA.
yeah.
Over.
Yeah, man. And it could get ugly. Could get ugly quickly. So, I guess I don't know, man. Well, it really all depends, I guess, how the line and how the quarterback plays, because weapons-wise, we've got the receivers, we got Neighbors, we've got, what's his face, Wandell, I think he'll be fine. Darius Slayton, I think he's a decent wide receiver as well. And I even, with the running, which we're gonna have a running back committee too. I mean, I have no reason to think, especially if the offensive line can do in that one game, it would look, they look pretty solid on holding the line, more on the pass block than the run block. But if they can, figure that out. I mean, Devin Singletary, Eric Gray, and even the other kid, Tyrone Tracy Jr., I think that is a little decent running back committee right there. So, there's the talent is around there. Obviously, like we've spent the last 45 talking minutes about, it's the quarterback.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Come, what's that, week 15, 16? The Giants come to Atlanta, December 22nd, 1 p.m. There's a video going around on the social media right now that you can watch. It's a Denver Broncos fan leaving a stadium, and the Broncos fan kind of jumps at another kid, and one kid hits him, and then another.
Yeah.
First of all, the first kid that hits the gentleman has on like a hair bonnet. So I don't know what that's about. But then his buddy comes out of nowhere and he co-clocks him. And here's why I'm talking about that third to last game of the season. No matter what our record is, we've said it. Keith Ippolito and I were with two New Yorkers living in Atlanta, talking Giants football. Don't come down here acting all Brody. Acting all full of yourself.
No.
And because, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's in a nice area. Yeah. But there's some sketch to it too.
I wouldn't wander too far on the other side of Northside Drive, right, John?
I'll put it like this. Chris Rock had a joke. He said, every city in the world, there's a Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And Martin Luther King Jr. was about nonviolence.
Yeah.
But what happens on every Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, no matter where it is, there's violence. Now, I'm going to give you, let's have geography class, boys and girls. If you come out of the stadium, you go to Northside Drive. When you get to Northside Drive, if you look to your left, not even a mile, not even a quarter mile down the road, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Now, I'm going to tell you, we ain't going to talk bad about it because my alma mater's over there. Morehouse and the HBCU's over there and the AUC is over there. But there's some folks over there, too, that ain't going to take lightly to you coming down here talking trash.
I don't.
So, here's all I'm saying. Keith, we're going to put some people. If they say, look here, shorty, man, things ain't going to go well for you after that. Okay? I'm just giving you warning.
You're probably right, John.
I'm just giving you warning. I don't want violence. I don't want problems. I don't want anybody to get hurt. So come down here, cheer respectfully, cheer.
Yeah.
If we win, great. If we don't, go get some wings. Ask the people, hey, great, beautiful stadium. What are some of your high-end restaurants? And just go there and then go on back home. And we're good.
How about this, John? For a general rule of thumb, go towards, I was going to call it Phillips or State Farm Arena. And
such as about to say, go towards Phipps Plaza and Lenox Mall. You said, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
That's worse than...
Yeah, I was going to say that nowadays, that's just as bad as that.
That's worse.
I know. Yeah, exactly. No, for a general rule of thumb, go towards State Farm Arena and Centennial Olympic Park. There's plenty of good restaurants and things to do over there. And if you're waiting for an Uber, I would say, just hang out over there. I mean, there's a really good bar actually. Of course, I'm drawing a blank on it now. It's by the Ferris wheel. It's actually a really good sports bar. They have 2 gigantic projector screen. I'm gonna have to look this up, and maybe I'll have to put it in the show notes, John. Maybe they can sponsor us.
Right below is what is that? City Grill, Capital City Grill.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm gonna help you with too. If you're talking to someone and they start yelling and they get loud, I don't know if y'all know what transpired. It's going to be a history lesson. What transpired a little over a year ago in Montgomery, Alabama, by the ferry on the water. And the gentleman took his hat and flipped it up in the air. And people swarmed in. And I can say this. Keith can't say this. I can. And black folks swarmed in. And you saw a dude come swimming in the water to get some things straight. If he throw his Falcons hat up in the air, what you want, shawty man? Just say, I'm sorry, and go on about your way. God bless you.
God bless you. So, John, that's a great public service announcement.
That's what I'm here for. I am a man. I want to be.
You're a man of the people, my man.
I want to keep peace. I don't want problems. I want people to come to Atlanta. Go see the College Football Hall of Fame. Great place. Go see the College Football Hall of Fame. I'd recommend, if you get a chance, go look for Joe Hamilton. He's in there. Shout out to Joe Ham.
Oh, yeah.
If you get a chance.
By the way, I was not aware that the radio network was in Dublin for the game. I saw some pictures floating around on social media. That was pretty cool, John.
Well, I wasn't there, but
I know you weren't. I saw a couple former colleagues. I did not know that they were traveling there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, he'll be in the north of France next week anyway, so what's the matter?
Oh yeah, the north of France.
He'll be in the northern end of France, so what's the matter? Like, just go there. You go to the north end of France, and you can take pictures. I mean, like, you can have the yacht. Because Dublin's, Ireland's an island, so you can have the yacht swing by Ireland on your way, and go get.
Oh yeah. I'll just cross the the English Channel, and I'll do my thing. Come on, man.
See, so just while you're there, go get a pint. Get a little taking a little bit of golf while you're there, and then so. Surprised you weren't there already. Then gas up the jet and go over there already. I mean,
gas up what? My prop plane? What kind of jet do you think I have?
That's an easy word for you to say, huh?
Yeah, oh God, yeah, exactly.
Just go ahead and gas up the jet and head on over there and go.
Hey, John, the day I own a jet, which is probably never, I promise you'll have a first class seat on it. Is that a deal?
Do private jets have like first class?
I don't know. I've never been on one. Have you?
I've never been on a private jet. I was gonna say they don't have first class. It's like all first class.
Yeah, that's actually. You know what? Fine. I'll make sure. What's your Do you have a favorite drink or something? Like if I have a private jet, what do you want?
If I'm on a private jet, I just want a soda. I'd like to know what's going on. I just want to make sure we go up and we go back down.
So you're not much of a drinker on the plane.
No, I don't want to be on the plane trying to get my wits about myself and sitting here wondering, did we land? Why is my feet wet? Why is my waist wet? Did I tinkle on myself? Oh no, we're in the Atlantic Ocean. Oh no, what is going on?
So are you a bad flyer then?
No, I'm a great flyer. I'm just smart enough to fly sober.
Hey, I can't disagree with that, my man.
Like, because when you go up in the air, first of all, when you fly, your ears get stuffy and you got to pop your ears.
Oh, okay? That's
fine. And now you add alcohol to it. And then it's that part of, now you got to try and get your wits about you because you don't, and particularly if you're flying long distance, now you're flying through time zones. And so now it's that moment in time when you're like, well, wait a minute. When I left, it was nighttime, and now all of a sudden, 2 hours later, it's daytime.
Yeah. What planet am I on?
Exactly. So it might be more of a control thing, where it's just like, I don't have control. I just want to get my feet back on the ground and let's rock and roll.
I can't disagree with that. Honestly, you're not wrong there, man. It's because you're sitting there in basically like a giant, I guess, tin can or whatever the hell it's made out of, and you're 30,000 feet in the air. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I usually don't have a hard time falling asleep on planes, though. Not because I'm drunk or anything. It's that usually I can put my head back and conk off for an hour or two or whatever.
See, I always would end up with a very nice person when I would fly alone. I'd end up with a very nice, and most times an older lady who would get on the plane, and I'd let her into the seat. And so how are you today? Very well, ma'am.
Oh, she wants to chat you up.
Are you married? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
How long have you been married? Okay, she wants to talk, so now I'm awake. And so now I got to sit here and I got to talk to her for the next however many hours. And then all the while, now I'm not comfortable. The flight attendants come by. Sir, would you like a Coke? Which, by the way, you're old enough to remember this. What happened to airlines serving you food on a plane? Like real food.
Yeah, honestly, I'm guessing it's a 9/11 thing, because, you really don't get any, like, food, like, real food unless you're on,
international.
I guess, like, a international or a West Coast trip, really. Like, if it's, like, if you're flying to New York, Boston, or, somewhere like that, you're pretty much just getting peanuts and pretzels and a cookie. And half a soda, basically. You're 100% right.
Like, what happened? I remember the days of flying to New York, and it's like, oh, well, would you like the steak or the chicken? It's like, oh, steak or chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now it's like, okay, well, here's a bag of peanuts, some of those Biscoff cookies, and would you like the can or the cup? Well, I'd like the whole thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think? Like, yeah, exactly. I paid a couple $100 for this plane ticket. Instead of giving me the whole bag, give me 2 or 3 of those bags.
Can I just give me the little basket? Go get some more.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, just bring the whole thing over. Come on.
I mean, but who knows?
What's the longest flight you ever been on, John?
From Charlotte to Hawaii.
Oh, God. What is that, 10 hours?
I don't know. I was going to Hawaii. I was having fun.
Was that a honeymoon with you and your wife?
No, just took a trip.
No? Okay.
From Charlotte to Hawaii. What about you?
Shit. Long? About 10 hours, too. Yeah, 10 hours. Yeah.
It wasn't so much the going. It was the coming back. Like, we left.
Because it's 6 hours back, right? The time change?
6 hours back, and we left Sunday afternoon. We got back Monday morning. Mm-hmm. So you fly through the night. I was so lost. You jet lagged. Yeah. I was like, I'm just ready to go.
And you said that was Charlotte straight through to Honolulu?
Yep.
Wow.
And then, so layover in Charlotte for an hour, 2 hours, and then a quick flight from Charlotte to Atlanta.
Gotcha.
Which, if you're ever in Charlotte, it's the international terminal, the international gate. Go over there, and they have the best food at that gate. First of all, that area altogether is so much fun. It's the gate where you just look around, and it was like Honolulu, Bahamas, St. Thomas, St. Croix. It was all the fun places. So I'm like, okay, I want to be here like all day. They can just tell me get on this flight. I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to that gate.
Charlotte International Terminal. All right. And if I am ever in Charlotte, I'm gonna remember that tip.
So, all right. We've given you your tip when you come to Atlanta. Don't come down here starting no mess. This is the place that wrote the song, If You Don't Give a, We Don't Give a. No give you buck, boy. I mean,
that actually came up on while I was at the gym today on one of my playlists today. Fantastic song, John.
Man, it's a warning track. It's a warning.
You're spot on with that description.
So if they say that, they throw a cap up in the air, you just take off running, go on about your business, get on back to New York. You'll be okay. Live to fight another day. As for us, we are going to podcast another day because we're going to get out of here before Keith says something that gets us shut down.
I've been pretty good tonight, my man.
That's why we're going to get out of here before you go and say something and we get a call from the FCC talking, or the SEC, even worse, why the Southeastern Conference is calling us with commentary. I don't know. That's why we're going to get out of here for you mess it up for us. We thank you for tuning into the Shared Stadium podcast. Like, subscribe, follow wherever you get your podcast. Hey guys, football season's right around the corner. Dear DraftKings, this is where we could have done a commercial for you guys. DraftKings legalized sports betting, but instead Keith, he makes bets with a guy named Joey the Shark, and things get really.
The Shark.
You don't want to use. Well, I'm not gonna say you don't. Sorry, Joey. They can use you if you want, but I don't want no drama. I don't want no smoke about that.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hey. If DraftKings wants to sponsor us, come on.
You've been listening to the Shared Stadium podcast. We thank you. I'm John Rad, along with my teammate Keith Ippolito. Basically, long story short, if you don't like us, tough. We have microphones. We have cameras. We don't care. We're going to be back next week. And if you don't like us, fight us. Till next time.